Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Roger, and this is your daily tarot map for Thursday, November 3rd, 2016, using tarot to create the life you want. So this week we continue our work with the Raven's Prophecy Tarot, created by Maggie Stiefvater, and the three cards drawn randomly from the deck today were the Two of Wands, the Moon, and the Ten of Swords. So the Two of Wands makes an appearance for the second time this week. Now, if you remember, the Two of Wands is all about planning and goal setting, about taking that initial spark and running with it, just much like the raven in the image of the card is doing. Now, we know that for any creative endeavor, we need goals. Otherwise, projects would never get off the ground. Now, unfortunately, the fire in this card is a little bit dampened by the water card next to it. Fire and water don't mix, so those plans or goals that we make sometimes have a difficult time moving to the next level. Now, our next card, the Moon, might give us a clue as to why this is so. The moon has no light of its own. It reflects its light from the sun, so that the light appears as though it's coming from the moon, but it's strictly an illusion. And that's where this card gets its meanings of illusion, of deception. It often appears in a reading when our emotions and inner fears get stirred up. This can represent doubts that we might be having, and we might begin to question our path and our decisions, even those plans and goals that we've made where we've made to better our life. It's a time of inner trial where we begin to wonder whether our dreams are really valid and worth pursuing. Now, it's helpful to keep in mind that the moon is a card of cycles, of ebbing and flowing, of ups and downs. We all have fluctuations in our mood. One of my favorite sayings is, sometimes we're up and sometimes we're down, and we're never in either place for very long. So the mistake that many of us make is making serious decisions when we're in the down period, such as maybe abandoning a creative endeavor. When our mood is low, that's the period where we begin questioning ourselves, whether our efforts are worth it or just a waste of time. Our mind does a marvelous job at convincing ourselves to abandon that which we were so excited about only a moment earlier. This is what Julia Cameron, the author of The Artist's Way, calls the critic, that inner voice who tells us that our ideas and our goals are garbage. Now, often we can wait it out if we recognize it for what it is, a mood of fluctuation that causes us to question our choices, a temporary state. But if we let the effects of the moon win, well, the result is the death of our dreams, as suggested by our last card, the Ten of Swords, which is perhaps one of the most unwelcome cards in the deck. Unfortunately, it happens to be the strongest card in this spread because there's no conflicting element card next to it to weaken its effect. So the Ten of Swords is about painful endings, and given that it's a swords card which have to do with the realm of thought and reasoning, it could very well portray the end of our carefully laid plans or creative projects, as portrayed by the skeletal hand in this card. So if we allow our mind to keep piling on one negative thought after the other, well, there's no possible way our creative endeavor can thrive. It dies in our minds, never brought to manifestation. Now, sometimes we have to accept that perhaps an idea or a plan simply isn't working or isn't worth pursuing. But so the trick here is to determine whether you're simply in a downswing of mood, those pesky effects of the moon card, or whether the project really does need to be abandoned. So really, the point of today's draw is that if you find yourself in this type of situation, don't be too quick to make a decision today. Wait it out a bit and see if you view things any differently tomorrow or even next week. So the message today for these 3 cards is: a downswing in mood can often cause us to throw in the towel. Remember, often the difference between success and failure is not giving up. So today's advice card comes from the Vintage Wisdom Oracle by Victoria Mosley. And the card to draw on randomly from the deck today is Centering. So, I really like this depiction of a Victorian fairy-like woman sitting in quiet solitude in the middle of the picture frame. Now, I think that this is really a great and relevant card to have in light of today's draw. This reminds us that at times our energies become scattered, leading us to confusion. We might not be thinking as clearly as we usually do. So if you find yourself flip-flopping or feeling confused about your goals or your decisions or your plans, take some time today to center. Spend time in meditation or contemplation and focus your intention inward, especially if you're experiencing a lot of external stress in your life. Doing this can help you perhaps to put things back into perspective, maybe reignite that initial spark that got you so excited that you decided to run with it. And that's it for today. If you liked this video, as always, I'd really appreciate it if you click the like button. And also visit my website at tarot-dude.com for more information about me and my work. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Brightest blessings.